All right, we're back and ready to hear from you. Looking at the unfolding situation in Nigeria's humanitarian ministry. Our guest this morning will soon join us. He's already picked my call. I've told him that we've been waiting for him on the Zoom and waiting for him to join. So once he does that, we'll put him on the air. But your thoughts are welcome. The whole situation with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has gotten Nigerians talking. But we also have to remember that we don't have that situation with Betta Edu alone. Of course, the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs has been invited by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to tell her what she knows about some allegations pertaining to her time as minister from 2019 to 2023. Just give me a second. Let me talk to our guest before we start. Okay, we have a guest ready for us. I quickly want to introduce him. He is the chairman of the defunct Special Presidential Investigation Panel during the Buhari administration. He chaired that panel, Special Investigation Panel on the Recovery of Public Properties. He's also a lawyer, and very importantly, he's a chief. He's from Cross River State, the same state as Dr. Betta Edu. I'm talking about none other than Obol Okoi Obono-Obla. Chief, good morning to you. Thank you so very kindly for joining us this morning. It's good to have you on the program.
Good morning, Kofi.
Yes, sir. Good to have you on the program. You have something in common. We're both from Cross River State. So, we're talking about a minister from Cross River State. So it's good to know. I've seen your analysis, quite an interesting one, which I may read out, but I think you'll say most of that as we go on the program this morning. For those who want to call in, please feel free to call the number 0700-993-993-993. We're not taking WhatsApp calls for now, as that may interfere with what we're doing with Chief. So 0700-993-993-993 is the number to call. Very much would like to hear from you. 0700-993-993-993. You can also call 01465-7190, 01465-7190. Taking your comments on Twitter, on WhatsApp rather, at 08095975805, 08095975805, and then, of course, on X at Nigerian for FM. That's Twitter and Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM, and we'll be very glad to hear from you. What's your reaction so far to the unfolding events, Barrister, at the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs? We do not have just Betta Edu, the former commissioner for health in River State, Cross River State, in the mix of things as far as this allegation is concerned. We also have a former minister of humanitarian affairs. We're talking about Sadia Umar Farouk, and we have the suspended or removed head of the National Social Investment Program, Halima Shehu. So what are your thoughts on all that has been going on in the past few weeks regarding this whole humanitarian affairs ministry, sir?
Well, I mean, it's very disappointing. If all these things are happening in a supposed Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs that is supposed to help vulnerable people, it calls to question our humanity. Because humanitarian work is about humanity, helping humanity to survive, humanity that is facing adversity. So it's very, very disappointing in the first place. Secondly, we must identify corruption as one of the drawbacks to national development. But I don't think Nigerians are ready to fight corruption squarely and resolutely. And also the government is not showing enough political will to fight corruption. I headed an anti-corruption agency, and I have a lot of experience if you really want to fight corruption on the backlash, or what they used to say, corruption, fighting back. So if we are ready to fight corruption, and if corruption is addressed adequately, squarely, we will not be seeing what we are seeing in the Nigerian Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, where monies that have been voted or budgeted to help vulnerable people, to fight and alleviate poverty, is being taken away by those who are in charge.
Okay, but of course, these allegations, Barrister, I'm sure you know better than I do that these allegations and that have not been proven or substantiated, investigations are still ongoing. So maybe we can say alleged. I don't know if that.
Well, fine. It has not been. The allegations have not been proven, but from the documents I have vetted and the response from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, it all shows that something that was not supposed to have been done took place. For instance, I wonder why a minister should make requests for funds from the Accountant General when the permanent secretary, who is by the federal government financial regulations, the permanent secretary is there. What was the role of the permanent secretary? The permanent secretary is supposed to be in charge of all the financial transactions of that ministry, all the human resources, and so forth and so on. So why did the permanent secretary abdicate his or her responsibility? So how do the minister come in? The minister is the political head of the ministry. And if you look at that law, the federal government financial regulations, the law is intended to promote accountability, transparency, and also, honesty, integrity, in the financial systems. So, and the law is intended to insulate ministers that are political heirs from day-to-day involvement in the financial, running of ministries. So why did the permanent secretary abdicate our responsibility? Why did the minister go ahead to, take the money after the Accountant General had advised her, that the procedure upon which you want to collect this money is wrong. This is the procedure you should take, because the Accountant General of the Federation is the chief, accounting officer of the Federation. So why did the minister disobey that advisory from the Office of the Accountant General? Why did the permanent secretary not take charge? So these are the questions we have to answer.
Okay. Previously, before I saw, before I saw your analysis, you put up a message. I think you shared with me on WhatsApp as well.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of the federal government financial regulations, but I'm aware of the Code of Conduct for Public Servants in the CFR in 1999 as amended. But from what I see, the Accountant General says they did not execute the request. They ignored the request to pay that money into a private account. So as it stands, no money was paid. Are we going ahead of ourselves, putting the cart before the horse? Because it could be said that Betta has not committed any crime if at all she is guilty of any of the things she's been charged, because no money has been paid by the Accountant General.
Well, that investigation will establish, but by the mere fact that the federal government financial regulations were brazenly violated by that memo, calls to question our integrity or even understanding of the system. Because I had thought that ministers are supposed to be experienced people. Ministers are supposed to be well-educated people. Ministers are supposed to be taken through the rudiments of federal government financial regulations, civil service rules. And that is why we have permanent secretaries who are professional civil servants, who are conversant with the financial regulations, civil service procedures. That is why we have them as chief accounting officers. So every minister that wants to, say that any minister that doesn't want to make a mistake, the mistake we have seen, must listen to the civil servants in our ministry. It's our ministry. We didn't see that. We saw that, the minister taking over, the procedures that are supposed to have been undertaken by the permanent secretary. That is wrong. See, corruption is not all about stealing money. Corruption is when you distort a procedure that has been established, maybe enunciated in a law or in a procedure or in a regulation. When you violate, that law or that regulation or does, the wrong thing, then you can be, guilty of corruption without taking money. It's not about taking money. It's not doing things, contrary to established norms. So even though money, I don't believe that money didn't pass, exchange hands, or the money was not taken.
No,
but the mere fact that
Barrister, Accountant General says
was breached.
Yeah, it wasn't paid. Okay, the procedure.
Yes.
But can we hold brief for Betta Edu to say that she does not know, she's not aware of how things are done at the federal level? And can you please, before even you answer that question, walk us through this law or this regulation you've talked about, Federal Government Financial Regulations 2009. And when you're that, I also want you to tell us some more about the Finance Act 2022, what it has to do with this. Also tell us about the Money Laundering Act 2022, and what it has to do with this.
Yes. I have taught ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who are supposed to be the paragons of integrity, of class, of elegance, or maybe learning. I had thought that they must have taken them through the rudiments of the Nigerian Constitution, the Finance Act, the Code of Conduct, provisions in the Constitution, the Money Laundering Act, and also the Federal Government Financial Regulations 2009.
So for
because I understand that there was a retreat. Mm-hmm. There was a retreat for ministers before they assumed office.
Okay.
So is it that she didn't know? But let me stress upon that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Okay, saying that you are not aware of the provisions of the law that says you cannot pay public money into a private account. That is money laundering. If you transfer money belonging to the federal government to a personal account, that is money laundering. Simplicity. It's also a violation of Section 713 of the Federal Government Financial Regulations 2009. Could it be that she didn't know? But even assuming without considering that she didn't know, that would not exonerate her. That is why you have a system. If you are in a system, you have to follow that system to the letter. I believe if there was, opinion, if there was consultation with other officials of the ministry, maybe she would have been educated. Maybe the permanent secretary, the directors of administration and finance, which every ministry has. These are very, very competent civil servants in the system. That is why the framers of the federal government regulations made permanent secretaries chief accounting officers of their ministry.
But Barrister, are we sure the permanent secretary is not a part of all of this?
Well, that is what investigation has to establish. Whether there was conspiracy, whether there was some aiding and abetting. In law, if you are given responsibility and you do it, you handle that responsibility in a negligent manner. You didn't assert yourself, you can also be found guilty. That is why I was saying that corruption is not all about taking money out of the system. If you breach the rules that have been provided, the rules that have been enacted to provide order, if you willingly or whimsically, go against those rules, you may also be guilty of corruption without taking money out of the system. So could it be that the permanent secretary was lukewarm? Could it be that the director of finance was lukewarm? Who are these people? Who are the people the minister was working together with? So all of them have questions to answer. Even the accountant general, after establishing that, it is wrong to pay federal government money to a private account, why did she go further to be a whistleblower? Or even elect the secretary to the governor of the federation, who is, in charge of the ministers, or even the chief of staff to the president. Why did she keep quiet until this the memo leaked to the public?
Yeah, Obol Okoi Obono-Obla. Who are we to say? Are we sure that maybe, Betta Edu has had the best intentions? Whether the money was going to a private account or not, maybe she had the best intention. We don't know.
No, I don't think so. I disagree with you, because I know that I am also a grassrooter. I am very, very conversant with what takes place in my ward, in my local government, concerning the assistance the federal government normally gives to vulnerable people. They always make use of the beneficiaries are always asked to provide their phone numbers, provide their local addresses, provide their BVN number, NIN, their biometrics, so that disbursement of this money can be easy. So why didn't we see that? Why were they transferring the money to a private account?
That's disbursement
to the beneficiary.
Disbursement directly from the Accountant General's office.
Yes, exactly. And if you look at Section 173, the Section 173 makes it clear that any officer that attempts to transfer or that approves the transfer of money from a federal government account to a private account is guilty of fraudulent intent. So that is it. Any officer that approves or directs the transfer of federal government money to a private account is guilty of fraudulent intent.
That is the financial.
Exactly the warning of the law.
Which law are we talking about here?
We are talking about Section 173 that says on no account should federal government money be paid into a private account. And conversely, on no account should personal money be paid into a federal government account. That if an officer directs the payment of federal government or transfer of federal government money into a private account, that officer is guilty of fraudulent intent.
So all the people who are paid from the TSA, via, how do we put it now? We had the what do we call it again?
NSIP.
No. We had the IPPIS, for instance. And those bodies, I'm sure, came from the TSA, which was set up by Buhari to make sure that government money is not chopped by people in government.
Exactly.
So if I'm a university lecturer or government employee and I'm registered under the IPPIS, the money from the TSA will go to my personal account, wouldn't it?
That is a salary account. If you look at the financial regulations, the federal government financial regulations, they contemplated three types of accounts. Salary account is number one, capital account, and then overhead cost account. So that if money is paid from federal government account into my salary account, it is not an offense because it is a salary account. But if it doesn't go to, if that money is not intended for salary, then you have questions to answer. This money is intended for vulnerable people. Why should it go into somebody's salary account?
Barrister, some of these vulnerable people don't have bank accounts. How about that?
No, that is not an excuse, because I have told you I've been familiar with these procedures for disbursement of money to beneficiaries. They always say, if you want to be a beneficiary, you must give an account number. You must give your bank. And I think a lot of Nigerians have bank accounts.
Okay, all right. In interesting thoughts you've shared with us. Let's take a call while you try to attend to put a call on that. Okay, we will go for a commercial break. When we come back, we'll take more of your thoughts, Barrister, and then we will give our listeners more opportunities to participate in the conversation. But don't forget, this morning, 5 listeners are going home with 10,000 naira each, courtesy One Play. Just go on the website, oneplay.ng, number 1, then play. Altogether, one word, oneplay.ng. Click on the Nigerian Info box there, the second box. And then you can play for 500 naira and above. Input your phone number and make the payment. And by 8:45, we will, or before then, we will do the draw right here live in the studio to get the winners. We may not have time to call them, but we'll call your numbers on the air or we'll call your names and everything. Commercial break up next. We'll be right back.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Mom, how many cubes of sugar and milk can I use, please?
John, just add 1 spoonful of milk and 3 cubes of sugar.
Auntie, do you still buy cocoa, milk, and sugar, then mix together in this economy?
Of course, yes.
You should try John Veng's 3-in-1 chocolate drink.
What's that?
John Veng's 3-in-1 chocolate drink has a good blend of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. It's the answer to your busy schedule. Just add water and stir.
Really?
It's delicious, nourishing, and convenient to make. Plus, it dissolves fast.
John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink is good for busy mornings, on-the-go lunches, and those after-school snacks. You won't need milk or sugar. Just add water for instant goodness any time of the day. John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink is available nationwide in stores and supermarkets. Enjoy instant goodness of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar with John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate drink.
It's almost time for school. Oh, not that kind of school. I'm talking about the kind that determines what the next phase of your life will be, where you will spend the next 4 years soaking in knowledge with young and ambitious minds who take fearless steps to become the next generation of African leaders. A school where state-of-the-art facilities help shape your future. A school where the lessons you learn echo beyond the walls of a classroom. So when it's time to write that life-changing examination, be sure to choose a university that sets you on the path to a secure future. Wigwe University, where the fearless make history.
Now open for admissions into the 2024-2025 session. Visit www.wigweuniversity.edu.ng for more information now.
Some customers want to buy, and some people want to sell. Whether or not the two you define, make you list your business. Hurry go, visibility day, ready to take over the world. Make you list your business. Buy goods so, sell goods so, food and house so, sharp sharp oh, oh yeah oh, visibility hey, ready to take over the world. Make you list your business.
Visit www.wittiyouneed.com today, because witty you need.
It is easier to talk of poverty than to think of the poor.
To negotiate with the European Union by December this year, 4,000 MOUs will be deployed in Europe.
To create a minimum standard of life below which no human being can fall is the elementary duty of the democratic state.
Kill corruption in our society. Let the poor breathe. Don't suffocate them.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you they talk like this. Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution on my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I don't know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said HFM.com.
Which one is HFM.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said HFM.com. Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
It's due you December. That means making statements your way, just like the queens of Real Housewives of Lagos. So just relax, because it's about you enjoying top-tier entertainment like Wura, Agu, School Run, and so much more. Only on Showmax. Do You December is also for the young ones and international movie lovers. Do You with SpongeBob, Fast X, and No Hard Feelings this festive anywhere, anytime without interruptions. Do You December is all about you. Subscribe now to showmax.com.
The auditions for the I Beg to Differ Secondary School Debate Competition have been extended. Hurry now. Enter for the chance to compete with the best of the best debaters in Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers. To begin, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Click on the I Beg to Differ banner on the homepage. Pick one topic from the list provided. Argue 2 minutes in favor and 2 minutes against the topic. Upload your 4-minute audio recording in MP3 format. Complete the registration form and submit your entry. Ensure you give it your best shot. Auditions close on the 14th of January 2024. For sponsorship, call 070-3498-4352 or send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, the Season 7.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
All right, we're back right here on the Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigerian Force. About the little a break, but hey, ready to take your thoughts and your calls right here on the show.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
0700993993993 is the number to call. 0700 rather 993 993. You can call 01-465-7190 if you're a female listener and you find it difficult getting through that number. Getting set to draw for the winners, 5 winners of 10,000. We'll announce them live on air and call them if possible. And of course, hopefully, if you are picked and we call you, you pick your call. 10,000 naira. Go right now to oneplay.ng. Look for the Nigeria Info box, the one that says Nigeria Info, and you click the box that says play for 5,500 naira. And when you go there, you can play for 500 naira. You can play one time, two time. You play two, play three, and all that as much as you want to play. But know that each winner today gets 10,000 naira. That's for today. We'll do that today, tomorrow, all through the week. Very soon we'll go on to do that draw right here on the show. All right, oneplay.ng, click Nigeria Info and do it right now. Our guest this morning, as we're looking at the issue of corruption allegations in Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, is Obol Okoi Obono-Obla. Obol is a chieftaincy title in Cross River State, in I think the Northern Senatorial District. And so that's why we call him Obol. Or we could say Chief Barrister Okoi Obono-Obla. So as I've called this one, you have to spray me money. Is the chairman, defunct presidential or defunct special presidential investigation panel for recovery of public property right there under the Buhari administration. Humanitarian Affairs Ministry corruption scandal is what we're talking about this morning, and your thoughts are welcome. Our guest has made some very, very salient points which we'll look at. But for the benefit of that of those who do not know about this story well, we're asking you, should President Tinubu bend to the pressure by some Nigerians calling for the suspension, and some are even calling for the outright sack of the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu? She was the head of the Cross River State Primary Healthcare Agency, did a good job, some would say, and then was promoted. She became the Commissioner of Health at quite a young age in Cross River State. But I don't remember her time with fondness when I think of the fact that she was part of those who said there was no COVID in Cross River State. And joined the band I had to dance. What dance was it that it danced during COVID lockdown? So should the president bend? But she's a rising star, in Cross River politics, and she's quite ambitious. And of course, she's done well for herself to become national women leader of APC during the campaigns, presidential campaigns, and of course now minister. Is this a smear campaign by those who want her to be pulled down or not? And should the president bend? The president has put out a statement, or the government have put out a statement through the Minister of Information and Orientation, saying they're investigating. Leave the government to investigate. They'll let Nigerians know the outcome of their investigation. Do you even think the minister herself should resign, step aside, just like Kemi Adeosun did, when she had her own scandal? What do you think? All right, your thoughts are welcome on the numbers earlier advertised. Should the investigation continue, as the minister herself already notes or noted in a statement signed by her special advisor on media and publicity, my good friend Rashid Olari Waju Zubair, whom I call Chairman Rashid. He was released on January 4, saying the matter is a tissue of lies, a spurious allegation to divert anti-graft agencies' attention. Barrister, I'm back to you. We know there are issues on ground already. Investigation by the EFCC regarding the head or the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs in the Buhari administration he served under. We're talking about Sadia Umar Farouk. She was invited by the EFCC to explain how a total of 37 billion naira was laundered by a contractor to the EFCC, James Sokuwete. She asked for 3 weeks, saying she wasn't well and she couldn't honor the invitation. And the EFCC said, no, you must produce yourself within 3 days. We have that already. We also have the small matter of Halima Shehu, who is who was the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program. And later, it was revealed that some monies were moved into some accounts under Shehu's agency, totaling 44 billion naira. She's helping the authorities explain or understand what is going on. Do you think the travels of Betta Edu, just only 585 billion naira, some will say, is an attempt to smear her name and to divert attention from the other investigations, sir?
I would not agree with that perspective. Yes, it is very important that Betta Edu, whom you said is a rising star, a very ambitious young politician. It's very important that she should clear her name. The documents we have seen are not just palatable. I mean, assuming without considering that the investigation has not started and has not established anything. But from what we see, from the documents I've seen, we have a Latin maxim in law. If so, if the thing speaks for itself, the thing speaks for itself. If I see a document signed by the minister to the accountant general saying that you should send federal government money to a private account, then I am worried. So I don't need to, see any other evidence to conclude that something is wrong somewhere, or the procedure has been breached. And the most interesting thing is that if you look at the federal government financial regulations, that regulation on the preface enjoins every public servant to be acquainted with the provisions of that law. So that law is one of the only books of the civil service, of the public service. And I expect somebody who is diligent a diligent minister or political appointee who is also, running an establishment that has to do with disbursement of money. I expect that person to get acquainted, with the procedures for disbursement of money that is outlined in the federal government financial regulations. Also, have an elementary knowledge of the provisions of the Money Laundering Act and the Code of Conduct, that regulates the conduct of public officers in Nigeria. Because decency, apart from even law, decency should tell us that you should not ask federal government money to be sent to a private account. And this is not small money. We are talking about 585 million naira. How are you going to police that account?
Yeah, but Barrister, this is coming at Barrister, this is coming at the time when Sadiya Farouk is already under investigation, or Sadiya Omar Farouk is under investigation. Coming at a time when Halima Shehu of the NSIP has been moved by the president, and she said the reason she moved 30 billion naira now, it's 37 now, 44 billion or so, is because the minister wanted to take everything, so she decided to take it to another account. So why now?
Yes,
and this money was never moved.
There is no time bar for a crime to be investigated and prosecuted. So if Halima Shehu had made that allegation, it is also very important that that allegation should be, investigated. But it is not an excuse for her to also move 44 billion or 35 billion into private accounts. This is money laundering simpliciter. You cannot do that. So she also alerts the authorities to do a proper investigation of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and all our agencies, so that we do not say that that place has become a cesspool of corruption or irregularities. And also maybe alert the authorities to ensure that experienced people are, appointed to run this ministry that is very important because of the fact that we are having a crisis, economic crisis in the country with attendant poverty, that the government has to take care of the welfare and security of Nigerians by ensuring that, poverty does not kill Nigerians. I think that is the essence of that ministry. We also have the challenge of banditry. We also have challenge of internally displaced people all over the country because of the crisis we are facing concerning insurrection, insurgencies, so forth and so on. So this is a very important ministry, this agency, the sister agency, Nigerian Social Investment Agency. We should have experienced people, maybe who are familiar with accounting procedures, so that we will not be hearing stories of money.
But Barrister, is this not maybe because we hear Betado cancelled one program that Lee was meant to do? She was meant to disburse some starter packs to victims of kidney harvest in Nasarawa State, and we had the minister suspended the event, and then the AFCC operatives later swooped on her.
Well, there is no excuse for what we have seen, even though if they are trying to get back at her, okay? So even if they are trying to get back at her, but if you want to, how did they used to say it? If you want to, if you call yourself an anti-corruption crusader, you should also ensure that your backside is also clean. Because a corruption fight comes with a lot of reprisals. I suffered it. When you are fighting corruption, people want to throw also debts at you. So you must ensure that you are clean. So that is not an excuse to say that, they want to get back at me. Why did you make a request for disbursement of 585 million naira to somebody's private account? She has to answer that. In as much as she was also fighting to ensure that public funds are not embezzled. or misappropriated.
So I want to find out for you the other amounts. I'm still trying to get some information, but the other amounts under Halima Shehu, how did they get? How did they get to the 44 billion naira? If this money ended up, we ended up finding out it ended up in people's private accounts.
And the minister in charge should also tell us how Halima Shehu was able to transfer 44 billion naira belonging to the federal government of Nigeria to people's private accounts.
But because should it not be because he said the accountant general who has come out to deny. The accountant general federation has come out to deny.
I believe
that she refused to give better that money because it's not done. So if it's the accountant general, in your WhatsApp message, you also said the accountant general federation is the one who approves, is the one who is in charge, as per the FGFR section 106, like you said. So should it not be the accountant general federation who should be telling us how Halima Shehu got to move 44 billion naira to suspicious accounts within the last 4 days? Within the last 4 days of December 2023.
I also agree with you. You remember previously I had said that the accountant general, his competency is also in question, because she said she had advised the minister, that it's wrong to transfer federal government money to private accounts, and I said that would have placed her on, on the role of a whistleblower. It is not just she didn't just stop at advising the minister that this procedure is wrong. She ought to have made a report, maybe to the secretary to government or to the chief of staff to the president, or even to the president, because I believe she has access to the president, because in charge of our accounting systems in.
Are you there? Okay, Barrister, you're muted, please. You're muted. I'm so sorry. You just mistakenly muted yourself. Yes. You're still muted, sir. Okay, better.
Did approve the transfer of the movement of federal government money to private accounts, because the minister is supposed to be the supervisor of the DG of NSSIA. So where was the minister? What was the role of the minister? Did she know?
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you, sir. That's an interesting question you've asked. Did she know? Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, King of Radio morning.
Yes, very quickly, please.
Chief Obla, good morning, sir. Good job. Look,
good morning.
King of Radio.
Yeah.
Chief Obla have said it all. This soft landing we are trying to give to this better Edu, it will not help matters. Both the other one that work with Buhari, it should not help matters. Please, we should enough of this soft landing for these guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for your time. I don't know if it's soft landing we're doing here. I'm not involved in any soft landing. Okay. Hello, good morning. Please turn off your radio set. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay. He's not aware of his call. Let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Yes, very quickly, please.
Please, this is Pastor Ladipo.
Okay.
Calling from Origi.
Yeah, welcome.
You see, we continue to treat some things with kid gloves. And we discover that most government officials, they don't follow procedures, so that their activities will not be traced. Most of them don't follow procedures. That is the reason what Chief Oblak is saying now. That did she know? See, we cannot excuse them. Like they said, excuse is not, ignorance is not an excuse in law. If they have committed anything, it's not only when money exchange hands. If they are committed, let them go for it, so that it will prove that we are about to make a new beginning in this country. These things have eaten us too deep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. 99.3, good morning. Hello. Please turn off the radio where you are. Oh, my. Sorry about that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Kofi.
Welcome. Who do we have on the line, please?
Yeah, this is Ola from Sule.
Ola, nice to have you. Very quickly, please.
Thank you very much. So, how you look at it? Number one, if the minister is have an issue, indicted. If the allegation is substantial, it should be investigated. But people shouting suspend her, I don't agree with them because they just want to derail the government and slow down the government. The money has not been moved according to the Accountant General. So why would you suspend that? Everybody can make mistakes, and she has been corrected. So if the law that the man is quoting is outdated, there's 2022 law. Why are you quoting 2009 law when the TSA has not been implemented in 2009? If you want to get cash out of TSA, the money will be transferred to the personal account of the coordinating project coordinator, and the project coordinator that will go and withdraw it from the bank. The man should explain that one to us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Barrister, what do you say to that, please?
I don't want to join issues with somebody who is not vested with the law. What is he talking about? I have gone through the law. There is the 2009 rules. They are still in force. That is not even a law. It's a regulation that can be made by the minister. So what I know is the federal government financial regulations 2009. I don't know if there's a new one as enacted. I have not seen it. I have looked at the corpus of laws of Nigeria. I have not seen what he's talking about. So let us not divert attention. Let us not distract, because Nigerians are fond of running away from the main issue just to give a soft landing to people that are favorites. People are calling for suspension. Yes, that is the normal procedure. I have suffered it. I've suffered suspension. That is a normal procedure. If any allegation is made against a public officer or a civil servant or a police officer, whoever, that person will be placed on suspension pending investigation, so that they want to avoid a situation where the person has access to documents. The person can doctor documents, can doctor memos. Nobody wants to be, portrayed in bad light, or nobody wants to be in trouble. You too, I don't want to be in trouble. So if I commit any, if an allegation is made against me, and you place me in a situation for me to, doctor the memos or documents or talk to people within the system to help me, then we have compromised the investigation already. So the most appropriate thing is to suspend the officer pending investigation. At the end of the investigation, if the person is exonerated, the person return back to his work. So there's nothing wrong with that.
All right,
Barrister. That is the normal procedure everywhere.
All right, Barrister.
Whether in Nigeria or the United States of America or Ghana.
All right. Chief Okoi Obono-Obla, I want to thank you so much for your time and for giving us your incisive analysis. It's a lot to chew. We're looking at how things will pan out this week. Let's see if this suspension, because you've given us reasons why suspension is important. And it checks out. It checks out, so you can't influence anything or sell yourself or anything like that. Let's see how it goes. The president has said, we should wait through the Minister of Information that is still investigating, and no one should take any news from anywhere. Thank you so very much for your time, Barrister. We appreciate you joining us this morning. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, his name is Obol Okoi Obono-Obla, and he joined us from his home. We will take time to announce the winners of One Play when we come back from the next set of commercials. So call them, and then we'll put them on the air. Stay with us.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
Hello there, I'm Dan. Exactly 7 months ago, I was frustrated because of unemployment and failed business attempts. Then I discovered the ALX Tech program, a game changer. It is convenient, affordable. I have tutors who are very accessible. Today, my life has changed for the better. I have multiple job offers and about to launch my tech-driven business. Why? My new tech skills, of course. The power is in your hands. Stop burning daylight and visit www.alxafrica.ng to enroll for any of the 2024 programs. For lovers of Instagram, check out their handle at ALX Nigeria for the latest updates and events. Start your 2024 with ALX. Power your future in tech.
3 emerging artists, 4 mega producers, 3 record deals with Empire. Do you have what it takes? Pepsi Music Academy, in partnership with Empire, is Nigeria's confirmed music development program. Scan the QR code on any of our cool interactive Pepsi bottles or visit www.pepsimusicacademy.ng to register for free and stand a chance to kickstart your music career with a 2-year record deal with Empire. Pepsi Music Academy. Stardom begins here. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
As you see me so, I belong to the Chop Better gang. Now, why anytime I want chop like this, I be put better things inside. For my yam porridge, after I don't put my fish, I go con deck am with onions, tatashe and ugu, con season am with correct no cubes for that delicious taste. Because my people, good life na life where you chop better.
Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with no cubes. For that
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.